Man, bro.
All right, everybody, welcome in. I'll let it start populating out there. This is the TexAgs post-game wrap, and it is brought to you by Higginbotham Insurance. A&M loses to Florida 41-24 in a game that we call the flu game, the no defense game, the no second half adjustment game. We'll talk about that. It feels like a copy and paste from some other shows that we've done this year. As I mentioned, this is brought to you by Higginbotham Insurance. You probably only think about insurance when you need it, but at Higginbotham, they think about you and your risk because they want you covered all year long. They start by listening and end with a custom solution that fits your needs and your budget. They do it all. Car, home, health, business, and employee insurance. Higginbotham's got you covered. Higginbotham is a place that leads with value so that your value leads. Call Tyler Smith up at 979-871-3162. That is Higginbotham Insurance, or visit higginbotham.com. All right, Brandon Leone's with me. Chris Taylor's going to be on Zoom joining us here on the show. And guys, let's kind of go through this game where we saw no offense in the second half. We saw a team only give it to A-Chain, what was it, 6 times? 7 times last week in the second half. He had 103 yards at the half. Just not good enough. The second half adjustments, the team playing with a bunch of walk-ons, a bunch of freshmen. It has been that kind of frustrating year without a doubt. We'll kind of go through this recap, Brandon, and we'll bring on CT here momentarily. First drive of the game, Florida goes 42 yards on 9 plays. They hit a 50-yard field goal. They go up 3-zip. A-Chain, though, says, all right, give me the ball. Please give me the ball in the second half. But it gives them an amazing run, 65-yard play. He would tack on a 5-yard touchdown afterwards, 7-3 Aggies. Florida then slices and dices A&M up with the running game and the passing game. Jalen Jones with the targeting call, out for the game, tack on 15 extra yards. Anthony Richardson keeps it, touchdown 10-7 Florida. Aggies do respond by passing. King to Max Wright, to Moose Muhammad. That was a 28-yarder. Sets up A-Chain wide open in the flats, 14-10 Aggies. I'm liking the offense. 2 weeks in a row, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Didn't last, though. Anthony Richardson with a 60-yard touchdown. You get the theme here. 17-14 Florida at that point. At the end of the first quarter, Florida had 140 yards rushing. I'm going to say that again. At the end of the first quarter, Florida had 140 yards rushing. All right, so in the second quarter, A&M responds with plenty of passes to Moose Muhammad. They have to settle on a field goal, 17 apiece. Florida gets creative on a 4th and 6. They pick up the first down. They'll end up scoring a field goal, 20-17. Then A&M and Florida do exchange some punts. Ags are able to capitalize right before the half. A-Chain runs, sets up an Evan Stewart 29-yard catch, 24-20 Aggies at that point. A-Chain at the half, as I mentioned, 103 yards rushing. At the half, Haynes King, 155 yards passing and a touchdown. But a minute and 28 seconds into the second half, the Aggies, by the way, received the ball to start the second half. Florida scores a touchdown. They go up 27-24. A&M couldn't get anything going at all in the second half, but especially in the third quarter. So they punt back-to-back. Florida comes with a punt themselves. They convert on a couple of third down conversions for a touchdown pass. They go up 34-24. A&M with 3 3-and-outs in the third quarter alone. Florida with almost 179 yards of offense, while the Ags had 29. Yeah, that's right. Haynes King in the third alone, 3 of 11 for 25 yards. Florida misses a chance to go up big on the Ags because they missed their field goal. And you know the fourth quarter. Ags had several chances. Haynes King played like a warrior in there. Florida adds a late touchdown, even though the Ags did have a chance to move the ball several times. 41-24 is your final. Let's bring on Brandon Leone, who's here, obviously, with me in the studio. And I have to bring him on. He's here. Push the little button. Brandon, your first thoughts on this one.
Man, there's really no words. I mean, I guarantee you that's going to be the theme. I hate it for the program. I hate it for the fans. I mean, I do. I hate it for the student athletes. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, again, we've talked about it. Yes, there's a ton of injuries, and they were playing with anybody they could put out there for the most part. But you had momentum. You gained momentum right before the end of the first half. You know, you scored, you took the lead, you got to stop, went into the half, leading 24-20. And again, I think for me, it kind of goes back to consistency for the entire season. We've never had all 3 units combined to do well, ever. Like maybe even in one series, I think I've seen it happen this entire season. And so you come out, you go 3 and out, and then I think 5 and out. 3 punts, and your offense was anemic at best. I mean, dead. And so crowds taken out of the game. Florida, like you said, we received and they scored within 2 minutes. And so there's just so many things that are wrong with everything right now. There's so many things that need to be changed, I think, to get this thing in the right direction. We are again, I've touched on this and people are probably tired of hearing me saying this. We are the 5th most talented football team in the United States of America based on roster talent alone in the last 4 years of recruiting. It's not an opinion. I'm not trying to say it. It is a legitimate fact, and we just lost 5 games in a row. The top 3 rushing defenses in the SEC have given up just over 700 rushing yards on the year. We gave up 700 in back-to-back games against Ole Miss and Florida. You cannot win football games if you get beat that bad on run defense, and you cannot win football games if your offense is inconsistent and not productive. So there's a reason that we are who we are. I mean, we're just not producing anywhere on the field.
We're bringing on Chris Taylor here on the post-game wrap. Chris, you were really good on Twitter today, my man. What is your overall thoughts on what you saw here? Obviously, there's negative thoughts, but just break this one down for us.
Well, if you saw anything on Twitter, it started positive, and my frustration is not with the effort that our guys are playing with, because I don't doubt that the guys are playing hard. It's that, how do we go in at halftime with the lead and we make no adjustments to the second half, and we come out and we basically sleepwalk and let Florida do whatever they want to do to us? And that's where my frustration lies. Are we not seeing the same things, as the coaching staff, that we as fans are seeing? Now, I understand it's easy to sit in your chair and say different things and have all the opinions and things, but you're not there in real time having to make these split second decisions. But I think the thing that I was the most disappointed in, I thought Haynes, he didn't play a flawless game, but he played a gutsy game. I thought he took care of the ball in the first half. Second half, I thought we started getting back to the old play calling, straight drop backs, keep him in the pocket, don't utilize his strengths. The first half, we were booting him out of the pocket, giving him an opportunity to have that pass first, run second option. We didn't do any of that in the second half. And it blows my mind that I'm sitting here, and I don't pretend that I'm a coach or that I understand this game to the level that the coaching staff at A&M does, but I would just, it kills me to think, how the hell are we not seeing these things and making the adjustments to it? We talk about how fast Haynes is and how we can run, yet we keep dropping him straight back, sitting him on a target, and telling the defensive ends and the D line, hey, here he is, get to this spot. And so it is frustrating. And I can't blame that on the O-line. We can make all the excuses in the world, but there has to be a scheme shift to call different things, to utilize different areas, to try to exploit different things that Florida was trying to do to you. And so for us to come out and not make any adjustments in the second half and keep running the same tired ass first down run, second down run, third down, here we go, throw it, punt it away. That seemed like that's what the theme was, and it was terrible to watch. And so I'm frustrated, just being a part of the program. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, Leone, I was back at A&M finishing up my degree back in 2009 during those Fran days, and this is as painful as it was to watch back then too. And if we don't make the adjustments and try to get some things worked out, man, we can be 4-8, going into the offseason. So disappointing effort the second half. I thought the guys played with guts, just because of the situation. But injuries happen, people get sick, next man up. But our coaching staff has to help us out too.
So I'm going to have a different take on all this frustration. I think I am more frustrated because of how well they played in the first half.
Absolutely.
Because the second half is kind of what I expected the game to feel like because of everybody out with the flu. I've seen different numbers thrown around. I haven't tabulated them up, but 34 guys out basically on this roster. So like the second half is what I thought. Oh yeah, that's they're not going to be able to move the ball. The offensive line. I mean, you got Mark Naboo starting for the first time. He's in there for Cam Dewberry. There's so many different guys out, but they moved the ball so efficiently in the first half that it gave me hope. Right. And that's what this team has done so much. And then, unfortunately, it does. And I'm not putting it on the players per se. I mean, I am putting it on the players, but I'm putting it on it's systemic. They don't have the DNA to win close games at the end. Now, this game ended up being a blowout or 17 points, but they had chances at the end of all these games in the fourth quarter to make noise, and they haven't been able to do it. Here's another note for you both to respond to. The Aggies are losing 5 straight games for the first time since 1980.
Yeah, and I wasn't even alive. You know,
Thanks for making me
I am 38, but the other thing I think that's just frustrating is there's just like little things that you start to pick up on, like the game just going so south at this point in the fourth quarter. I'm just kind of watching our sense of urgency. I mean, we're letting 19 seconds go off the play clock, 22 seconds down, and you would think that we were up 10. We're down 10.
Yep.
You know, and so again, I think the frustrating part for me, CT, and everybody I think is feeling me on this. But when I played, we were not close to as talented as a roster as this. We had some really good players when I was here, 100%. But this team is loaded with guys that were offered by everybody from across the country. So this is not a talent problem. How much more clear does it need to be? It's not. It is something is going on in the Bright complex that's not putting these players in position. They fought their tails off. Haynes King fought so hard today. I'm so proud of that kid.
I'm proud of him too.
But here's the thing. I mean, there is no doubt that 15, I mean, let's just say it, dude, 15 is an elite guy. I mean, you could say that. And I don't want to take away from how well Haynes played today because he played well enough. CT, you said it. He played well enough for us to win this game. And we literally either went away from what was working in the first half or just flat out got out coached. And it sounds like it was maybe a combination of both.
So I'm going to just, CT, I'm going to read you some of these numbers because they are what they are. In the fourth quarter, A&M had 77 total yards of offense. I mentioned 29 in the first half. That just tells you how bad the second half was for this team. It says here, overall, total second half yards, 106. They had 11 rushing yards in the second half.
Yeah, and gave up almost 300.
Yeah, they gave up 259 yards of total offense in the second half. The first half, 263. But again, though, they were able to run on them so much, it didn't really matter.
No, I mean, you look at it, A&M, I mean, we're down 10, but we're in a position to score points before we have the sack fumble. And it's, we're dropping back and I don't, I can't see the all 22, so I don't know, but it looked like I want to say the third to last drive, one of those drives in the fourth quarter, it's like we ran the same route combination 3 or 4 times in a row. Well, I mean, we didn't complete it. We were 1 of 3 on those tries. And, to line up and try to run it on first down, run it on second down, Florida was not going to let number 6 beat them the second half. They were going to make Haynes play ball. But we also got to help him. Haynes is, his strength is not standing and looking down the barrel. And the guy is limping around and he's getting beat up. Get him off the spot. He's a guy that in high school, you saw the tape. He's able to move. He gets out of the pocket. He extends plays. He can hurt you with his legs. And for some reason, and Brandon, you tweeted this and it blows my mind. For some reason, when our QBs see an open field, and I don't know if it's they're being told don't run, don't do these things, stay in the pocket, throw the football, we're not taking advantage of what the defense is giving you. This is an easy game. You block, you tackle, and you take what the defense gives you. You create mismatches, and that's how you win football games. Florida created mismatches being able to run the football today. We couldn't create enough separation on the outside in the second half. We couldn't run the football, and you see that's the difference in the game. 21-0 the second half. They made adjustments at halftime to take away the things that were working for us. We were not able to adjust those things in the second half, and ultimately we couldn't put points on the board. So, what do? The guys are playing their guts out. They're playing hard, but playing hard and playing your guts out, that's not getting W's. Something has to change, and something has to change in a hurry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it. I don't understand it because it goes back to Mon, but we leave more yards out there for the quarterback run game when things break down more than anybody in the country. I mean, Kellen was a great runner if he ever tried, but so often you're like, go, 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 and he wouldn't. And today there was at least 7 plays where Haynes could have, granted he's beat up, right, but he could have run and slid and got 5 or 6 yards. And then it's just I don't understand it. I'll say this too. One thing that I saw Florida make a really good adjustment on, they could tell that we had youth and they were just they were taking advantage of our lack of experience and our, when you have young guys out there, one of the hardest things to me coming to the college game was eye discipline, like really being able to see what's going on. And they called a great game and exposed not our talent, but they exposed a lot of that youth and experience today. And they did a good job of that. And it was adjustments, CT, like you said. They called a great game.
Well, it felt like the second half, like when you're trying to leave a parking garage, the little thing comes down, the little gate thing. That's what happened. And once you got to 25, 24 points. That thing came down and like, all right, we'll see you guys later. Here was a big issue. And it's been an issue all season long, and it doesn't matter who they have out there. They don't tackle well.
No.
At all. And like you'd see like these humongous holes, and every once in a while somebody would be there, but the guy would get right through them. Etienne made like there was a 3rd and 8 situation where you had Etienne 2 or 3 different times
down in
behind
the red zone.
Yeah,
and made 4 guys miss.
Yeah, and then picks
literally
up
just one cut,
first
just,
down.
Yeah, they got to wrap up, man. They're coming downhill really fast, and that's good because they're trying to play aggressive. But I mean, these guys are just, if it's their skill player versus RDB, it's one cut and it's a missed tackle. Significant amount of the time. So it's just, I don't know what they're practicing there, if it's youth, if it's a little bit of fear maybe because they're young and those guys have good athletes too, but we have got to tackle better. We've given up a lot of extra yards after contact.
So let me ask you guys this, because I don't really think I have an answer, and maybe it's because I'm in the middle of a lot of cookies right there.
I know. Yeah.
Really
Shout
nice.
out to the
I'm good.
super sweet alumni that just handed these to me as I walked by.
If CT can't get one, I
Boy
can't
said,
get one.
you know me. You got those high key cookies at home, those almond flour.
No, I don't need cookies.
All
All
right,
right.
cookies, man. Leave those there.
We don't deserve cookies after today. Where was I going with this? Oh my goodness. I forget.
Hijacked you.
The bottom line is, okay, this is what I was going to say. Thank you for reminding me. This is a very professional show. I don't know if Connor makes that much of a difference today with as bad as the defense played. Now, don't get me wrong. I think with Connor, you're going to score more, right? But I just feel like it would just give Florida more opportunities to run on you.
Man, I will disagree with you, Nuño. I love you on that. At 15 is a once-in-a-generational talent. He showed that.
I'm just saying the way the defense played.
No, absolutely. You're right. But I do think that Jimbo maybe would have called a different game with a healthy Connor versus a hurt Haynes. I do want to give him that benefit of the doubt. But I don't know. Yeah.
Brandon, I agree with you on that. I don't know that it is different. I think with Connor out there, you score more points, and then it makes Florida do things that they don't want to do. They can't sit and just run the football. Instead, now you put the ball in 15's hand, who they, on TV, they were calling him sweet and sour. Sometimes you'll get the sweet stuff and he'll hit you for a big play. And then he has those negative plays that have plagued Florida all season. So with 15 out there, he puts pressure on Florida to call a different game and not just rely on those 2 running backs back there. So I don't know at this point. I'm like, would Jimbo have called a different game? I mean, I don't know, but 15 gives you an opportunities to. I think he's gonna start getting out of the pocket, running more, making defenses account for that 11th man out there.
And the bottom line though is, if you can't stop somebody, you're gonna win games.
No,
so. And here's the thing: I have said all season long, like one play here, one play there, one play everywhere. Guess what? When it's one play everywhere, like it could be a special teams play, it could be offsides, it can be defense, it can be like right now the defense. And again, there's a lot of injuries. I get all that, but you know what? Sorry, the flu's hitting the entire state of Texas.
Yeah.
And it didn't just hit our campus.
You don't got the answer, Sway. That's what I was thinking about when he said it. Yeah.
I think it's 2 plays in this game. You think about, or 3 plays, the punt return, and then 2 plays later, Florida scores. I think the punt return changed the momentum of this thing in the second half. And then as we're driving, the sack fumble, I think that's what really put the nail in the coffin. But you can point to 3 huge plays. I mean, we're giving up yardage on the ground like crazy, but we're still in the game at that point. But I think those 3 plays, it's 24-20 at that point. The kid makes a great one-handed catch down in the end zone, puts them ahead. And then, we come out and we're driving and we have a self-inflicted wound. We shoot ourselves in the foot. So
did both of you guys have the same kind of feeling after the first drive of the second half? Here we go again. Because if we felt it, are the players feeling it?
I don't know. I know that I hate what I'm feeling. I know that I hate having to come on here and talk about something that we all love so much in a negative light. I know that I genuinely despise the feeling that I have seeing this team struggle. And it's not like I'm mad at the team. Like, I love Texas A&M, and I know these kids. You could see the defense. I was sitting down in the first section today in the second half with my friend Paul Webb, and you could see them be dejected. I mean, like, you could see them, like, when they caught that touchdown over Killebrew. Yeah. I mean, you could just see, like, they're fighting their tails off, but you can kind of just see the heaviness. And if I'm feeling it as a old, washed up 38-year-old man, like, that that this is genuinely hurting my heart to have to talk about this. I know they're feeling it. And so truly, man, my heart, it hurts for them. It hurts for the staff. It hurts for Jimbo. He's been getting his ass kicked this year by the media, by the fans. All of us are feeling for this program, but man, this is a wasted opportunity this year. And I just hope and pray that they can turn it around. But I know,
well, not this year.
Yeah. Oh, this year, but just,
I mean, this
year's toast, but
they're probably not going to be bowl eligible. I mean, look, I don't know.
That might be the case. I think if 15's healthy, they can win at least the next two. 100%.
And Brandon, I think that I don't know that this is a complete wasted year. I think that with the amount of young guys that we're playing, this is a teachable moment. This is something that, as you move into next year, hey, listen, we don't want to feel this way. We went through this. You have young guys that are getting valuable experience right now, and it's hard to watch. I mean, I'm on the thread with, talking to Sammy Davis and Cornelius Anthony and those guys, and it's not just us that are frustrated. I mean, this is, when you think of A&M football, you think of these guys as a fraternity. I mean, you and I, we never played together, but we text and we talk and we do things. This is like a brotherhood. And to watch your brothers out there and they're struggling and they're going through it right now, it's hard to watch. So, seeing 7 or 18, 19-year-olds be dejected, they're still pups. They're still got some growing to do, but this is a teachable moment. This is a learning moment. And if they can learn this hard lesson, you look at what Tennessee did and where they were a year, 2 years ago, there's an opportunity for this team to grow from all the adversity and be a better football team moving forward. So hopefully hopefully this is the positive that's coming out of a difficult year.
Well, and especially in the era of today, right? Like with the portal, like,
well, and I think that's more of my point.
These young guys getting
if this was a couple of years ago, CT, I'm thinking to myself, this is great experience for these guys, and it may end up being great experience for these guys, but because of the way the college football has changed, like, look, I don't want to guess people are leaving. I don't know. I just know that they have more options than they've ever had, and they've got more dollars waiting for them than they've ever had. But with that, you can also bring in people. So
it'll be a test of leadership, right? I mean, for this coaching staff, for operations, for everybody, because you got a lot of young guys that are getting experience. If they keep these core guys together, these young guys, I mean, there was 8 true freshmen playing on defense today at one point, against the Florida Gators, right? That's a lot of players. They're young, they're inexperienced. They're, it's a tough transition from high school. I don't care if 1-star, 5-star, it is a tough transition. So to see some of these guys like the Evan Stewarts excel at the level they are, it's really good. But for me, CT, I go back to what you said, dude. Like, if anybody is a parent out there and you have kids, when they're hurting, you want to take it from them. You want to foster and create an environment to protect them from hurt. A little bit of hurt is good, right? Adversity is good. It builds character. But this is hard for all Aggies to watch, whether you play it or not. We're all hurting together right now, and we all want the best for them. But today was just a gut punch. You can't get your air back. It hurt.
Yeah, especially when you played your best half of football in the first half, and to come out and lay a turd in the second half. That's the hard part.
Get that,
yeah. And there's, again, the part of me understands that you had a lot of guys out. Like, I get it. I do get it, but I don't get it.
Because you showed in the first half you can go win this game.
But somebody brought up on the thread here a moment ago, and I agree with it. Like, your depth is being tested. You lose Jalen Jones. That's going to catch up with you. You keep losing guys. You have young guys getting tired who haven't had you had flu hit your locker room. Who knows who came back from it and how their system. Like, there's a lot of reasons for it. I'm not giving excuses, by the way.
No,
I'm at a point where it doesn't matter what the excuse is. It's not good enough. It's not.
It's a results-based game, man. And we're not producing them.
Look, other programs that don't have guaranteed contracts with their head coach, they would probably be changing the coach. I don't want them to change Jimbo. I need them to change something, though. They got to change, like, philosophy, mindset. If it's me, if I think I've learned how to be a GM this year, just by a college football GM, just by watching this young team, I wouldn't have a team of only young guys out there. You need to hit some veteran guys in the portal. I think you have to have that on the offensive line. You got to have it on the defensive line. People who've actually played, not just juniors been waiting their turn, people who have experience.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes that need to be made, and that's what this coaching staff is in there to do, and hopefully man, anybody that's ever faced anything hard in their lives and are trying to overcome something, man, you gotta look yourself in the mirror. You got to be able to take responsibility for the things that you're doing, good and bad. Admit where you're falling short, where you're coming up short, and do everything that you can to commit to get better. And so, right now, these kids, hopefully they can. I know it's impossible. Block out the noise, draw the circle around yourself, focus on doing what you can. These coaches, man, just continue to pour into them. I promise you, man, when I was here at 18, 19 years old, I had a really, really, really hard life outside of the game, right? And so this was home for me,
right?
And so I don't know, and I don't want to pretend to know all these kids' stories in there, but I know there's 85 scholarship young men and some walk-ons in there, and they all have different stories. And when you're hurting like this, CT, like you said, as a family, you need to be rallied around, you need to be poured into, you need to be mentored, you need to be challenged, right? But you need to be built up and not torn down. And so that's the hard part about the post-game show when we lose, is we got to be kind of critical and call it what it is. But ultimately, man, my heart and my prayer for those young men and those men on staff and the women, everybody involved with that department, is that they know they're not alone, but that we're kind of like a parent on the outside, like challenging them to come on, step up to the plate and do what we know that y'all can do.
Yep. Somebody just posted, in Nuño we trust, he's going to get Jimbo right. I have no power, no thought. I mean, I just know that things need to change.
Get in there, Nuño.
Right? Like, you know what he needs? He just needs to listen to David Goggins and go run 100 miles this weekend and get his mind right, because it's unfortunately for all of us. Look, we're going to close it out here because we've gone almost 30 minutes, and it's been, we're at this show could have been last week's show, could have been the week before. The only difference was last week there was, and I was very proud of Haynes. Like, I mean, regardless.
Absolutely. 13 was a warrior today.
He was, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm at a point, just win some games. Like, and they have the 5-game losing streak. Now you go on the road next week. Who knows who's playing in that one?
I'm going. Yeah. I'm going to Auburn. Support the guys.
Don't be on the planes, huh?
I'll zoom it. I'm gonna be like you. I'm gonna get out on the field, like try to position myself somewhere while they're cleaning up all the trash behind me.
Yeah, Brandon, you don't have those credentials though. They might escort you out of there. So be careful with that, man.
Who is this clown?
All right, so everybody, give me your 15 to 20-second final thoughts. CT, you go first.
Accountability from the top. Take a look in the mirror. Nobody's above making corrections. Look in the mirror from the top, starting with Jimbo. Come down, through the roster and look at it. Look in the mirror. Make the changes. Hold everybody accountable and do the things that are going to be for the best success of this football team, not for your individual self.
Surround each other with support, man. Those guys are hurting, I promise you. And if you don't have anything good to say outside of the program, I would say just leave them alone. Pray for them, encourage them, and hope that they get it right.
I'm going to ask you guys this question as we end. I was going to end it earlier, but I'll end it with this because I might be a prisoner of the moment right now. Is this the worst Aggie football season that you have experienced in the last 30 plus years? Because there have been some other seasons that are bad, but I think the cliff from this one, like the cliff of being number 6 and thinking next year is our national championship year potentially, and this year maybe you're a New Year's 6 team. Is this the worst season you guys have endured, either playing or watching?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just because you knew you were young. Great recruiting class, but you knew you were young. I have to say, and Brandon, I'm sorry, those Franchione years were hard.
I was going to say 03, my redshirt freshman year before, we were a super talented team. I mean, golly, we had Terrence Keel, Sammy Davis, Ty Warren, Bethel Johnson, Jamar Taylor. We had so many good players, and we went 6-6, beat OU with my boy Reggie, and then we came out and lay an egg and go 4-8. So that was a tough year. I think the difference to me is the reason
played on it.
I played on it, yeah, and it hurt, but I mean, I was in the moment. I was just in social media, none of this stuff. It was a different world, right? No one knew who I was, really. I didn't have to deal with the stuff that they're seeing and the trash talk and the hate. But the reason that this one to me is the toughest, Nuño, is because of what you said. Young or not, man, this 5th most talented team in college football with a national championship winning coach. And I came into this season honestly believing that we would win 10 at a minimum. I mean, truly, it wasn't like the Aggie hype machine. I believed we could do it. And this one hurts, man. But it's 1 year, man. No one's defined by what they're doing this year, but this year is tough. And let's just see how they finish, man. Let's see if they finish strong.
All right, CT, Brandon, we appreciate it. Tough one again for A&M as they fall in this one. 41-24.
You're a good man, bro.
Yeah,
you do a great job.
Well, appreciate you guys, and thank you for everybody watching, and even the Texas fans getting in there and getting their shots. And it is what it is. Maybe you guys lose later. Who knows? But it was not a fun night. It hasn't been or fun morning, I should say. Well, not a fun season so far. Let's see what happens next week when they hit Auburn, and Connor obviously hoping he gets back to the lineup and get some guys back. And Billy and I will be all over this tomorrow when we do the Luchador. Thank you so much for watching. We will catch you tomorrow on the Luchador and on Monday morning on TexAgs Radio.